Derry, Maine presents itself as the archetype of New England stability. It has the quiet main street, the Victorian architecture, and the manicured parks you'd expect from a sleepy, historic town. But the municipal records tell a different story. This timeline maps Derry's population against its death certificates. Every 27 years, the town suffers a massive, unexplained surge in child mortality and missing person reports that dwarfs the national average. These surges are defined by a strange lack of local alarm. In 1905, inside the sleepy Silver Dollar Tavern, a man used an axe to butcher several loggers, while the other patrons continued their drinks and small talk, ignoring the violence happening inches away. This suggests that Derry is less of a town and more of a collective agreement, a place that has developed an unnatural, psychic bond with the violence it produces. The pattern began with the first settlement in 1715.
Much like the mystery at Roanoke, all 300 original residents of the Derry Township vanished in a single winter, leaving behind nothing but a trail of blood-soaked clothing. This timeline shows the regularity of what follows. The entity enters a 27-year hibernation, dormant until triggered by a new act of communal violence. The feeding window lasts 12 to 16 months, leaving mathematically consistent gaps between these horrific events. This cycle is protected by supernatural amnesia. When the feeding window closes, the adult population experiences a psychological compulsion to forget the horror, ensuring that the predator's environment remains undisturbed for the next generation. To understand how this works, we have to look at the town's physical infrastructure. In Derry, municipal architecture functions as a biological nervous system for the parasite beneath it. The house at 29 Neibolt Street is a primary nexus point. It sits directly over the 1715 well house where the first settlers vanished, its peeling pink paint and rotting porch serving as a mask for the entrance to the creature's lair. The Neibolt basement drops directly into the municipal sewer lines. This provides the entity with a subterranean highway, allowing it to move undetected through the iron pipes running beneath every home in the town. This is a vintage postcard of the Derry Standpipe. It's a massive water tower that was closed to the public after several children were found drowned inside. The entity uses the municipal water supply itself to channel psychic dread and trap its prey. These public utilities aren't serving the citizens. They are parasitic arteries designed to deliver victims directly to the predator. The creature doesn't just feed on physical meat. It survives on the psychic energy generated by human hatred. In 1930, a white supremacist group burned down the Black Spot, a nightclub catering to black soldiers. As the building collapsed, witnesses saw a giant avian silhouette floating in the smoke, a manifestation of the entity feeding on the victim's terror. A similar event occurred during the 1929 Bradley gang ambush, where ordinary residents suddenly turned into a violent mob, gunning down outlaws in the streets, while a clown in farmer's clothes joined the firing line. The town's history of bigotry and violence acts as a way to salt the meat. The geography weaponizes local prejudices to maximize the fear the entity requires before it strikes. These forms, clowns, birds, and monsters, are proxies. The human brain constructs them as a filter because the entity's actual state is beyond biological comprehension. Its true nature is a higher dimensional eldritch energy known as the Deadlights. It is a sentient force that originated from the Macroverse long before the town of Derry existed. When perceived by the human eye, the Deadlights appear as three pulsing, sickly yellow orbs of light. They writhe with a malevolent, unstable energy. Direct exposure to this light results in immediate catatonia. The mind doesn't just fail to understand the form, it snaps under the weight of a reality it was never evolved to perceive. But the author behind this mythology uses the cosmic horror of the Deadlights to highlight a much more grounded tragedy. The real nightmare isn't a clown in a storm drain. It's the empty bicycle left on a manicured lawn and the neighbors who choose to look the other way. In Derry, silence is the primary mechanism of the hunt. When a community chooses to ignore its own history of violence, the darkness is allowed to thrive.